All right, well, Halloween is just a week away. We've been telling you that all morning. And with all the extra sweets around, you want to make sure that your pet only gets into pet-friendly treats.
So to make sure you know what is okay for your pets, we're going to check in with our vet. Dr. Joel Conn is joining us this morning. What can you tell us?
Good morning.
So Halloween can be a scary time for pets.
Yeah.
And so a couple of things that you can do. You know, most of it's common sense, but we always like to remind pet owners this time of the year to be safe with their pets as well. So one of the first things is don't leave your pets unattended. Please, please don't leave your pets unattended. You know, this Halloween weekend and also, of course, Halloween night is a great time for pranks. Black cats are particularly at risk, so really keep your pets inside. If you have indoor-outdoor kitties, especially black kitties, bring them inside, you know, during the weekend probably, and also on Halloween night.
Sure.
Halloween treats, as we all know, are for people, not for pets.
Not for pets, that's right.
So, you know, of course, most people know chocolate can be fairly toxic to dogs and, of course, cats. Other things, though, raisins, you know, there are some of those trick-or-treaters out there that are still getting some raisins in their bag, and those might be just the sort of treat that you might slip to your pet, so you don't have to eat. But raisins are actually really toxic to pets, so be really careful. You know, parents, tell your kids, please, you know, keep those treats separate from your dogs and your cats. And dogs will, especially if they're anything like my dogs, they will rip through plastic bags and they'll rip into, you know, jack-o'-lanterns and that kind of thing. So, speaking of jack-o'-lanterns, you want to be a little careful with those too. We've got a great segment coming up. It looks like we got some really cool jack-o'-lanterns to look at. You want to make sure not only you're protecting those so they look great for, you know, the weeks or to come, but also those can be fire hazards. Pets will have been known to knock those over, sending the candles toppling and creating a fire hazard. So again, keep your pets kind of away from those guys as well. And then despite how much fun it is for people to dress up, not all pets like to be dressed up.
Oh, you're delving into
Believe
this
it or not.
controversy, yes.
So, you know, make sure that you have, if you're going to dress your pet up, make sure it's a pet that actually wants to get dressed up. Can be really stressful for pets, believe it or not. And also make sure if you have an animal that's going to wear a costume, make sure the costume's not overly constricting, that it's not tight around the neck, those kinds of things. Again, just kind of common sense so that you can have a safe Halloween. And then really the final thing is when you're having trick-or-treaters around, you know, consider maybe having your dog especially in a separate room, you know, away from the front door. Because not only, you know, can that be very stressful for them, the doorbell's ringing and ringing and ringing, but also that's a good chance for them to head for the great outdoors. And just in case that were to happen, make sure your pet has a good form of permanent identification as well. It's a good time of year for that. So,
yeah, definitely.
You know, keep your pets safe, and you know, a little bit of extra thought, you know, going into the holidays really helps keep the whole family safe.
What happens if your dog does or your cat gets into chocolate? Is there anything you can do, or should you just take him to the vet immediately?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to call a vet immediately because depending on the amount of chocolate, the type of chocolate, the darker the chocolate, the more hazardous it is. Semi-sweet and baker's chocolate are very, very toxic. So depending on how big your dog is and how much chocolate they consume, we may do nothing, or, you know, in many cases we may have them come in for treatment, actually induce vomiting, you know, give them charcoal, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So keep them away from the candy.
That's right. Exactly. Moral of the story.
Exactly.
More for me.
Yeah.
And if you have a